I'm telling my age now. Hi there.
Hi.
You missed Lisa's
Dancing.
interpretive dance
I wouldn't mind you
performance.
down on there. She has ruined my reputation
She
at the
danced
Motherhouse.
all the way along.
She's
Lisa
down
did?
and waving
And
her
I didn't
arms
have my
and-
camera out.
I was dancing around.
She
What was she
dancing.
dancing for?
Because she felt the spirit to do so.
Yeah.
It was so
But she's ruined my
cute.
reputation. I dare not show my face.
Sister Joan was in her office.
She stole it.
Yeah,
Yes,
John Wayne was
Yeah.
traveling to make the movie, and he was going through Kilbeggan, where I was living, where we were from. And he stopped at a hotel, and we all stood out, or we sat on the bridge to watch him go by.
Oh my
We
God.
were little, but were there
I was about
adults
10 or
who
8.
were
I
like,
don't-
oh my gosh, this
They weren't
is so
interested.
exciting.
No, they were too busy
They-
working.
They didn't know him as a movie star, like coming
no,
to
they
their
weren't
town.
into it.
Yeah.
How you got your name Kevin? We were curious.
Because we got to choose a name when we became sisters. We changed our names, and I wanted an Irish name, so I wanted Kevin, Patrick. I wanted Patrick, Kevin, or Brendan. So they didn't want to give me Patrick because that was supposed to be the 6th Irish person that came, which never happened. And so I got Kevin. And then when we changed our names back, my first name was Mary, and we had so many Marys, I would get mixed up with everybody. And so I kept Kevin. St. Kevin, I like St. Kevin.
How come it wasn't St. Bridget or St.
I didn't like Bridget.
Oh, okay.
It wasn't I didn't like Bridget, I didn't like
Yeah,
the name.
You didn't want to have that
But I
as
didn't want to
your
be called
name.
Biddy because we called Bridget at home.
So did you know any Kevins when you were growing up?
No,
Well, I like that.
I just like Kevin.
You're original.
Look at those birds. I love to watch them. No. And so I just kept Kevin. I wanted an Irish name,
Yeah.
and so that's what I...
It's funny because they wanted St. Patrick for St. Columba.
No, St.
and-
Patrick, because Monsignor Cody had promised Mother Aloysia he'd get her 6 Irish postulants.
I see.
And I was the first one. And then we had others, and they left.
Huh.
So I was the only one that stayed.
It's the right name. You picked the right name. You're not.
Well, the
Sister
female
Patrick.
version of it is Quiva.
How do you spell that?
Caoimbhe. It's the Irish for spelling. It's like she asked me about Saoirse.
Yeah, isn't that pretty? It means peace in Gaelic.
Saoirse.
Will you spell that,
Peace.
please?
Yes, Saoirse. Saoirise. Saoirse. It's the Gaelic for peace.
Gaelic.
Saoirse.
And you know, Keeley is beautiful. Keeley.
Keeley?
Yeah.
Huh,
I looked
didn't
it
know
up.
that.
What, now say that again.
Keeley.
What about
is
it?
Beautiful. Means beautiful.
Beautiful.
In Irish.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
That I didn't either.
Huh.
No,
She
it's not.
changed to a lady saint name. So what was Sister Edith's name when it wasn't Sister
Louise. And she was Louise, but she didn't like the name Louise. Her baptismal name was Louise.
Edith? But what was her man saint name?
She didn't have a man's name.
When did you decide that this was your calling?
Holy Toledo. It's a long story, and I will tell it to you one of these days, but not tonight.
Not tonight. Oh, come on. So how old were you when you...
I was 17 when I came over. But I was young and dumb, and I wouldn't do it again. I don't regret it. I've had a wonderful life, but I couldn't leave my family like that because it was 10 years before I got to see them.
That must have been hard.
It was more than hard.
And were you lonely?
Oh, no. I used to cry all... I used to go out to say the stations, and I would say poetry because I did more than that. I would just say poetry that and I'd walk from station to station. Everybody thought, what a holy person she is.
Do you what poets did you
Oh, I liked Yeats and you number of the Irish poets that I would, and we had memorized an awful lot of them. So my mother came to get me, and she went to Scully's, and I wasn't at Scully's doing my homework. She found out I was up at the courthouse. They were having a Gaelic dancing. I was out dancing with Jerry Smith. My mother comes over, taps me on the shoulder, and I thought, oh Lord, I'm in for it. Out we went. She walked me home, and I wasn't allowed out of the house for ages.
What happened to, who was the boy? What was his
Jerry
name?
Smith.
Jerry Smith?
Yeah.
What
he
happened to
thought
him?
What happened to him? He thought I was going to marry him and said after my mother asked for a picture. She didn't have a picture of me for my passport. He did. So she went and got the picture from him and told him.
Did you ever keep in touch with him?
He used to write to me, and then Frances Marie told us he used to write in Gaelic that she had to be able to read our letters because she opened our letters. And I'd write him back in Gaelic. So that ended it.
Will you tell the story about the leprechaun on your dad's bicycle?
The leprechaun?
No, my dad would tell us he rode his bicycle everywhere. We didn't have cars. We had pony and traps. Now we used to go to mass on Sunday, but my dad rode his bicycle everywhere, and he used to tell us a leprechaun would come sit on his shoulder, and he'd ride, and he'd always knew the leprechaun was on his shoulder, and we believed him.
Well, of course, just like there's fairies in the garden.
Well, there are fairies. We had fairy rings, and we didn't play in them. We would not go into the fairy ring in case it'd take us.
Wow.
They were actually a ring, but we would not go into the fairy ring. We were always afraid they would take us.
Wow.
I love you.
I love you too.